Dakar, the capital of Senegal in West Africa. It was here in 2024 that a poster like this one appeared, calling on the ambassador of Ukraine to leave. There were articles on news sites, and bloggers signed a petition.
Tous les Sénégalais s'accordent là-dessus. Ils disent, cette Ukraine-là n'est pas un partenaire, c'est une menace, c'est un danger.
But the bloggers' message, the posters, and the articles were all bought and paid for by Ukraine's arch enemy. It was a propaganda operation by Russia, one of hundreds of operations laid out in black and white. Articles for publication, cash payments, maps, Russia's strategy to win hearts and minds in Africa. The documents were leaked to Africa's mobile newspaper, The Continent, in 2024, then analysed by a consortium led by France's Forbidden Stories. The documents come from a Russian network called Afrika Politology, under US sanctions. The group calls itself The Company. It created a Project Africa. Agents ordered to spread the Kremlin's anti-Western message. One of the tools, articles written and then sent to African news sites for publication. The documents date to 2024, but the operation is ongoing. Notably in Senegal, a country Russia would like to draw into its sphere of influence.
Pour moi, qui ai travaillé au début sur vraiment le Sahel, entendu comme le Mali, Burkina et le Niger, donc c'est intéressant de voir comment cette action d'influence ou ces opérations d'influence-là se sont étendues, notamment par exemple au Sénégal. Ces documents-là ont apporté quand même directement une preuve qu'une entité bien reconnue et sanctionnée d'ailleurs par les États-Unis, liée donc à l'État russe, est centrale dans cette opération de propagande.
We counted a total of 644 articles published between June and November 2024. Written by Russia's propaganda machine, they were sent to intermediaries, who passed them on to African journalists for publication on their news sites. The budget was $250 to $650 per article, a total of 300,000 over the 6 months. How did the articles get published, and who got the money? Many of the articles were published by sites known for pushing Russian propaganda. The site Afrique Media TV, based in Cameroon, has more than 1 million followers on Facebook. It published 125 of the articles. But they were also published by well-regarded news sites, like Senegal's Presse Afrique. Established in 2008, it was the first Senegalese news organization to be certified by the Global Journalism Trust Initiative. We asked their news director how Presse Afrique came to publish 13 different articles produced by the Russians.
C'est des articles qui ont échappé à la vigilance des responsables de rédaction.
There were articles critical of Ukraine, opinion pieces targeting France, and fictional authors. When we notified him about the 13 articles, he took them down.
Quand vous lisez ces articles-là, vous voyez nettement en fait qu'il y a, disons, une tentative de manipulation. Automatiquement, nous avons désactivé ces articles parce qu'on se dit que ça a été mis à notre insu.
The documents say the Russians paid a total of $6,500 for publication of the 13 articles.
Cet argent-là n'est pas entré dans la comptabilité de Presse Afrique. En tout cas, dans notre comptabilité, il n'y a nulle part où on peut retracer ces articles-là. Ces articles viennent soit du Cameroun, du Togo ou du Mali.
He received this WhatsApp message in March.
Bonjour directeur, je suis directeur de publication du journal en ligne basé à Lomé. Nous voudrions faire une publication sur votre site. Quelles sont vos conditions ?
Bonjour. Quel genre de publication ?
His contact proposes an article about the re-election of Denis Sassou Nguesso in the Republic of Congo. There's a paragraph highlighting his personal relationship with Russian President Vladimir Putin.
Possibilité de publication?
Nous ne publions pas ce texte qui fait la propagande chino-russe.
We contacted more than a dozen Senegalese journalists who published the Russian articles. One of them agreed to speak to us. We'll call him Abdoulaye. Abdoulaye was under pressure to produce content. In Senegal and other African countries, news sites depend on advertising revenue. Abdoulaye was expected to publish 15 to 20 articles every day.
Pour avoir ces revenus, il faut publier beaucoup d'articles. C'est la loi du clic. Forcément, quand on demande de publier beaucoup d'articles, parfois on publie certains articles sans vérifier forcément les informations. Un confrère me contacte, me dit de l'aider à diffuser cette information.
In July 2024, a colleague sent him an article critical of EU policy in Africa. He published it the same day. Abdoulaye told us it's common practice for African journalists to share articles for publication. He says he received no payment. Russia targeted 14 African countries. In 2018, Russia's paramilitary Wagner Group arrived in the Central African Republic. And since 2020, Russia has found new allies in Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, 3 countries that have undergone military coups and now call themselves the Alliance of Sahel States. The 3 juntas are strongly anti-Western. Russia hopes to expand the alliance to other countries, including Senegal. An election in 2024 brought new leaders to Senegal, the PASTEF party, which has called for the departure of French troops. One of the Russian stated aims is to make the French presence in Senegal toxic. Some of the journalists we spoke to put us in touch with the colleagues who send them articles. We asked them where the articles came from.
Ça vient d'un confrère togolais. J'ai jamais trouvé un confrère togo. Sur son numéro WhatsApp, celui qui m'a contacté, il m'a dit qu'il a trouvé mon numéro sur le net. Il y a une agence de communication.
Et les journalistes qui publiaient l'article, est-ce qu'ils touchaient une somme d'argent aussi?
10 000, hein, 10 000. Pour qu'il publie, il veut que tu passes à la caisse. Voilà, tu lui payes et il publie.
Seydou told us he himself received only €4 for each article he placed. The Togolese colleague he refers to is called Aubin Coutelet. Interviewed by Al Jazeera in 2025, Coutelet admitted sending articles to colleagues for money, but said he wasn't doing it for Russia. Coutelet told us he had no knowledge of and no connection to any Russian disinformation campaign. Other journalists we spoke to in the region told us they had received articles from 2 people with close ties to Russia's propaganda machine. A journalist in Ivory Coast said he had received 18 articles from Jérôme Ebosama, former program director at Cameroon's Afrique Media TV. An investigation by Africa Confidential in 2023 found documents showing he had been paid by the Wagner Group to distribute pro-Russian videos. Another intermediary gave us another name. He told us he had been sent an article in early 2026 by a journalist also based in Cameroon.
Elle m'a demandé de leur transférer l'article contre tel montant. Et si les confrères sont d'accord, moi je les envoie. Puis elle m'envoie l'argent et je leur transfère. Ce n'est pas à moi seul qu'elle envoie des articles. Donc elle a d'autres consoeurs, d'autres confrères, d'autres pays qui reçoivent aussi leurs articles pour publication.
Et du coup, elle s'appelle comment?
Clarisse.
Clarisse Wiederven works for Pan-African Media TV. We found no information suggesting she participated in the Russian operation in 2024. But according to the French weekly Jeune Afrique, she works now with a Russian company that provides content to Pan-African Media TV. She has frequently visited Russia. And she spent 10 years at Afrique Media TV.
So they were going to be on the Pan-African television, Afrique Media.
Afrique Media TV is the outlet that published 125 of the Russian articles in 6 months.
Afrique Media, le monde, c'est nous.
Afrika Media signed an agreement with Russia's state-owned RT channel in 2022 to join forces against what they call Western propaganda. The two journalists did not respond to our requests for an interview. Afrika Media told us their network did not receive any of the payments described for publication of the content in question. They said Jérôme Ebosama was dismissed as program director in October 2025 for disciplinary reasons. The Russian operation got its start in the Central African Republic when the Wagner Group arrived in 2018. In 2024, whistleblower Efrem Yalike contacted Forbidden Stories to explain how he had acted as an intermediary, placing Russian articles in local media outlets, or inviting guests to appear on a radio station set up by the Wagner Group.
On paye 20 000 par expert. Est-ce que tu sais qui on pourrait inviter?
Ok, je propose combien de personnes?
Si, jusqu'à 5, mais il faut qu'il soit disponible tout de suite pour venir à la radio enregistrer l'émission.
Yalike eventually fell out with the Russians, who threatened to kill him. He fled the country. Some of the news sites where the Russians placed articles have wide audiences, but it's impossible to quantify the impact of the articles on public opinion in Senegal or elsewhere. Fact-checking journalists in Senegal have told us they never even saw the posters put up in 2024. But that hasn't deterred Russia from continuing its efforts. Billboards for Russia's state-owned RT network appeared in early 2026, announcing the pro-Kremlin channel's arrival in Senegal. The network has organized cultural events aimed at promoting ties with Russia, and training programs for Senegalese journalists on how to fight disinformation.